Hi, this video shows how IGI's GenStencil software creates a stencil from the solder paste layer using the component library and edit rules. This is the basic method used by GenStencil. Additional efficiencies such as running by specification, ODB++, component recognition, and flow automation will be shown in other videos. The stencil is created in 3 general steps. First, components are found and edits applied automatically. Then you can define further components if needed and adjust the edits. After you review and click Done, the stencil layer is generated. To open a job, we can drag and drop the data on the GenStencil icon. We're working with the solder paste layer to create the stencil layer. We'll also display the silkscreen layer for visual clues about how the components are laid out. In this job, there is an outline. We'll assign the offboard attribute to it. That will prevent it from being processed. Another option is to delete it from this layer. Now we'll run the GenSolderPaste stencil command. Select the top solder paste layer. The stencil and component ID layers to be generated are filled in automatically. We'll select the top silkscreen layer for the connect layer that helps us determine orientation for some cases where the component layout could be defined in more than one way. The rule location is important because it determines which sets of edit rules are assigned automatically. It also determines the default location for the edits you create. GenStencil stores the edit rules in a tree-like structure. We can see the different levels are labeled by customer, thickness, and engineer. These names make sense for many of our customers, but you can customize these names so they make sense for your operation, product line, stencil type, or something else. If you don't select all 3 levels, the system will alert you when you click OK. GenStencil searches the library for components and automatically applies the edit rules to them based on the rule level that you just selected. The solder paste geometry dialog shows all components found in your job and the edits applied to them. It was designed to be expanded on a second monitor and works best that way, but for this video we shrunk it down to make it easier to see how it works with the job graphics. From this dialog, you can review, apply edits, and even define new components for your library. Let's step through some components in this job to get a feel for how that works. You can zoom right to a component by clicking on it in the list, or use the stepping buttons to step through the job one case at a time, or one component at a time. Click the Pad button to go to an undefined geometry. You can see it is listed by geometry type rather than component name, and it's blue to show that it is not defined as part of a component. Let's define this DFN with the Auto Component button. We select any case of the geometry, click Enter. It's given a name automatically, and we can choose to define it in the library or for unique cases, define it locally with the job. At this point, you can define more components or just finish with Enter. As we step with the next button, you can see that the component was defined at all different rotations. Now let's make some edits to this geometry. For the pitched pads, we select a parametric edit by clicking on this column, choosing the edit we want, and clicking Select. Stepping through the components again, we can see that the edit was made for the stencil geometry at all rotations. Belly pad edits are similar, but a bit more manual. First, click on the non-parametric edit column and an editor session opens with a full range of possible edits. We want to window pane this belly pad, so we'll use one of the window painting tools to create a 2x2 rectangular pane with 75% coverage. Even with the window painting tools, there are a full range of options. While the number of choices may seem a bit overwhelming at first, You'll soon find that the flexibility and convenience it gives you is amazing. We like how that edit worked, so let's save it, close this editor session, and go back to the components list. Here again, we see the belly pad edit was done to all cases and rotations of the component. Now it's time to review the edits. Violations of the area aspect ratio are easy to find because they're calculated live and highlighted in red in the component list. If you have the capability to make stepped stencils, the most common way to resolve this is to enter a new foil thickness for this part of the stencil. Just click on the thickness column and enter a new one. You can also adjust any applied edits to make a stencil aperture larger, but that's a less common way to fix the problem. A brief look at this tells us there are no further violations of area aspect ratio to deal with in this job. The stepping tools are useful for a visual inspection of the edits. You can also filter component lists to simplify your review. Here we apply a filter called All BGAs to list only the BGA type components. Filters can be based on any combination of names, types, sizes, pitch, area aspect ratio, and many other criteria. Clear the box to list all components again. Everything looks good. A click on Done will finish the process. If we isolate the stencil layer, we can see it contains just the edited apertures for the stencil. The text area shows the reports generated and lists their locations. The reports give information about all components in the job and summary information such as total solder paste volume, as well as other information. Spreadsheet reports can also be generated and formatted with custom templates if desired. Now that you've seen the basic operation of IGI's GenStencil, you may want to learn more about how our quick global edits can save you time and increase consistency in your operation. Or maybe you would like to learn how running specifications, ODB++, component recognition, or flow automation can take you to the next level of efficiency, using your enterprise information and stepping you through the process, including layout and export. Visit our website at IGI.com or contact us at swsales@igi.com for more information. Thank you.